Today I want to talk about Slenderman. Growing up, Slenderman was everywhere. It was a cultural icon. There's been times recently I've been somewhere, like in the woods at night, with people in their early 20s. And upon mentioning Slenderman, their faces actually drop. It still occupies that bogeyman part of the psyche for a whole generation. I know girls who are still genuinely scared of him. His impact I feel isn't discussed enough. I'm making this video because I want Slenderman to come back. He had such a good run. Many games being made about him, films, and every kid was terrified of Slender. We would play games in the woods and spook the shit out of each other. I remember not being able to sleep at night thinking about Slender, looking out my windows and behind me while walking down the street. And I look at these memories very fondly. I feel that the push of Slenderman online died down after that incident where those two girls stabbed another girl and said Slenderman told them to do it. The girl survived being stabbed a crazy amount of times, so I think she is badass. But the story is still messed up, and I think it's a shame that Slenderman's legacy was tanked by this. But his effect was had. He lives on within all of our minds, still very culturally significant, though you don't see him anywhere. All of his replacements were shit. Siren Head, that shit was just goofy. All of the Trevor Henderson shit is like a big joke to me. Many laughs to be had. Slendy was awesome. It was unnerving, eerie, uncanny. So many questions surround him. Like, where did he get that fly-ass suit? Why does he have no face? And is he an octopus? What's great about Slender is that he was never really explained. The fear of him is tied in with a lot of confusion. He is unfathomable. His intentions and purpose unknown. You just know that if you saw him, you would be filled with immense dread. Other creepypastas just haven't had that lasting impact. And Slenderman doesn't even have like a main story attached to him, just a concept. Jeff the Killer has an iconic image, but it's always been shit. The story is hilarious, and its only legacy is a bunch of fanfics made by loser teenage girls. Smile Dog is base, but really it's just a spooky image. And I think the Rake occupies almost a similar place as Slenderman in my brain, but he just wasn't as widely known to have the kind of lasting impact that Slenderman did. And also I feel it was the start of the biggest creepypasta cliche of them all. The skinny pale humanoid with black hollow eyes. I've heard a lot of people insist now that the dust has settled and we can view creepypastas for what they are, that Abandoned by Disney is actually very good. It's not. It's fucking dog shit and hilarious. You may not remember, but when the protagonist is running away from negative Mickey taking his head off, he sees scratched into the wall, "Abandoned by God." Very funny stuff. Hot take maybe, but Ben Drowned sucks as well. I get it was the first that did what it did, but it's just boring as fuck and not scary at all. I mean, really, I sound autistic running through all these creepypastas and saying they're shit. Like, of course, you know, they're badly written campfire stories for kids, but this is all of the memorable stuff from a dead era that we look back on with cringe. Nobody really looks at Slendy like that, because he still fills the archetypal role of boogeyman in our minds. For a figure who holds such power in the collective conscious of a generation, it's crazy how he has no reputation at all in media now. He is an important and influential horror icon, and while other horror icons from 40 years ago are still prevalent in the culture today, Slendy has unfairly and sadly disappeared. I see him as like our generation's Michael Myers, just in terms of significance. Obviously Slendy is much more mysterious. When it came to the creepypasta era, Slendy was the top guy. The next era of horror icons started by Five Nights at Freddy's is gay as hell. Don't get me wrong, I fuck with Freddy Fazbear. FNAF lore actually goes way harder than it should, and the series has many iconic characters. But FNAF birthed a new era of slot, pure current 93 noddy as evil shit, where we take innocent and comfortable things like cartoon characters and make them fucked up. Concept that's really played out and was already really played out back in the creepypasta era. And really you could say it originated with Chucky or the 80s UK industrial scene. Bendy sucks, Poppy sucks. I fuck with this guy, to be honest, this guy's cool. This era never produced anything that comes anywhere near Slenderman, and none of it is scary. It's all just goofy and gay. You're probably thinking, yo Catman, what about actual modern horror icons? Why are you going on about all this kid shit? But what have we got? Art the Clown? He's alright. I mean, he's brute as fuck. But to be honest, the Terrifier films ain't really got much to them. It's just brutality for the sake of it, largely. He's not scary, really. Part of me believes he's just intended to be this dry satire of 80s horror icons that treats the invincibility, villainousness, and bloodlust of these characters in a more realistic way. Like he's just murking everyone, and it's not funny, it's not sensationalist, it's just fucked up. I can see being scared shitless of him if you're a kid though. And then who else have you actually got? Annabelle? Don't take the piss. Why is Slenderman not currently occupying this vacancy in modern horror icons? He's way better than all of them. You could have films where people go crazy in their exhaustion and their confusion, constantly on the move trying to escape this being they can't comprehend. Another area of horror now is analog horror, which is the goofiest shit I've ever seen. There's one that's this evil version of Batman, which I got a lot of laughs from when I happened to encounter it. The boyhood one is basically brain rot but spooky. I like his character design, but what is actually the deal with the video? Why is it on some bar after the lobotomy shit? Imagine how dog shit Slenderman would be if he originated in this era. A Vine boom every time he appears. The 8 pages have some dumb dialogue about how he is your new sleep paralysis friend written on them. I always thought ARGs were gay nerd shit, and analog horror is in that territory. They'll all fall into obscurity and will only be laughed at in retrospect. Meanwhile, Slendy is all up in your brain. He's still with you after all of these years, even though he's not being mentioned anywhere. He has no mouth, but he's saying something to you. In a faint voice, he's whispering, "Let me come back." In another timeline, Slenderman is a horror icon, still as relevant today as Freddy, Jason, Michael Myers, Leatherface. The world just gave up on him after that stabbing incident, and it took all the steam out of it in terms of pushing it towards the mainstream. But it's up to us to bring him back. Slenderman did not tell those girls to do what they did. How could he? He doesn't have a mouth. So it's my opinion those girls were just deranged. Bringing Slenderman back is not going to cause incidents like that to occur. What it will do though is make horror based again. Imagine if we got a Kino Slenderman movie. That would be the dream. But yeah, I guess I just think it's a shame and a waste of potential that Slendy is out of the spotlight when he has influenced things greatly and essentially opened up the doors for alternative forms of horror. Just give the man his flowers. That's all I ask. Anyway, that's about it. Subscribe to The Catman Show, leave a like, leave a comment. Goodbye.